Hello everyone out there, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan if you are new here. And if you're not new here, that's cool too. Happy to have you here. I'm a nutritionist. I usually make content on healthy, simple living, but I do have a little baby that I had 5 months ago. I have her here sitting in front of me. Her name is Sadie. And today I wanted to share my newborn essentials. This is a video that has been requested by a lot of you. And so I wanted to sit down and share that with you all today. Newborn essentials, but also just like some general baby essentials as well. I've also typed up a whole blog post that covers everything that I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So if you want to read through it, you can. I share a few little bits and bobs in that blog post as well. And you know, everything in this list that I'm sharing with you today is what we use on a regular basis. Nothing is superfluous. We really try to keep things you know, minimal for the most part, and just things that we need and use. And so if you're really looking for just like the staples, then hopefully this list will be helpful for you. I will say though that of course you don't always know exactly what you're gonna need or what you're gonna use until you actually have your baby if you're a first-time parent, but I do still hope that this video is very helpful for you. I also just wanna say I got a lot of these things secondhand. Highly recommend doing that. There's so many baby items out there that you can get for a great price that are still in great condition that like babies just go through things quickly. They grow really fast. But also a lot of these things are great to add to a baby registry too. A bunch of these things were on my baby registry as well. So that's that. So let's dive right in. Starting with the hygiene category, the first thing that I'm going to start with here, this is a favorite of mine. I would say that this is a favorite, and that is burp cloths. Burp cloths are definitely essential. You're going to use them a lot because babies spit up when you're burping them. She doesn't as much anymore, but you want to have these in like every room. Have them on your shoulder, have them on your bedside table, have them in your living room, have them in your diaper bag, just kind of with you wherever you spend a lot of time during the day. Next up, I'm gonna move on to some of the things that we keep on our changing station in this little basket. First and foremost, these are obvious essentials, but diapers as well as wipes. We've used a few different brands of diapers. Hello Bello, we do use the most. I've used 7th generation, Happy Little Camper. You know, there's a lot out there. These are water wipes. I like these. It's just a cloth, water with some grapefruit seed extract. Next up, I have here diaper cream. This is by the company Attitude, and I really like this one. Thankfully, Sadie has never had a really bad diaper rash, but still really good to have on hand. I like this one. And baby powder too. Baby powder's great. This one is talc free. It's from Hello Bello. You can actually also use cornstarch. Really good for just, what am I trying to say? Soak up moisture, keeps things nice and dry after a diaper change. Another item that's great to have is some kind of moisturizer, really great for after bath time. We've used a couple different ones. We are using this one right now by Earth Mama. It's their Calming Lavender Baby Lotion. So really good after bath. We also have this baby oil from Primally Pure, which actually we've used a lot on her scalp. She had a bit of cradle cap when she was born, and this actually has helped immensely. Next up, I've got here a nail file. You can also use nail clippers. We do have a pair of baby nail clippers as well, but I've actually only used a nail file. I just find it gentle. I don't have to worry about clipping and just being delicate with that. The nail file works really well. This is just a crystal, like really, really fine grit nail file that I've had for like a decade that I've used on my own nails, and it has worked really well for Sadie's nails. Babies' nails are razor sharp. They grow so fast. You definitely gotta stay on top of keeping them nicely trimmed because they can cut themselves. She's cut her face a few times. Another essential we've got here is a thermometer. This is by the brand Safety First. We don't use this all the time, but there definitely have been a couple of times where we've wanted to take her temperature, and so it's good to have this. It just goes under her armpit. Okay, this one probably technically hasn't been an essential, and that's because Sadie is mostly bald. She's got like a little bit of fuzz coming in, but she just doesn't have a lot of hair, so you just never really know if your baby's gonna have hair or not. I still use it though, just because. If she had more hair, it probably would be a little bit more useful. Next up, I've got vitamin D. Vitamin D we give to Sadie regularly, good for babies. This is 400 IU, at least where I live, it is something that is recommended for babies. So this is something we give to her often. Next up, we have a changing pad that we put on top of her dresser, her little tabletop. So here's a little side note. Before she was born, I had gotten a couple of really adorable floral covers for it that looked so cute in the nursery, but we quickly learned that they are just, don't even bother, because throughout all the diaper changes through the day and poo explosions, they just, you know, you're just constantly having to throw them in the laundry anyway. So we don't even use a cover on it anymore. It's just a nice wipeable surface. We also have a diaper pail as well. We have the Ubby brand, which is great. It's a great diaper pail. Just open it, shut it. Works like a charm. Another essential would be a baby bathtub that we actually got secondhand. And it's just perfect for newborns, for infants. She still uses it, although she's at a point now where she's like sitting up more. But it's great because it comes with a little insert where they can like lay back on, and it just makes it a lot easier for cleaning little babies. We do baths regularly. It's part of our bedtime routine. Also got some baby soap here. This is by Karina Organics. It's our baby shampoo and body wash. And I actually use their face wash. This brand is my face wash. Really nice, very, very gentle. We don't use soap on her every single night, but a couple times a week we will do that. A couple more things in this category would be baby washcloths. You don't necessarily need them to be the baby ones. You could just use like a regular washcloth, but these are nice because they're just thin. They're really, really like soft and just small and good for little babies. And lastly, we've got a baby bath towel. This one I actually love because, as you can see, the little corners on it have these little pads, soft pads that make patting her down so easy. It's a little hooded bath towel. But yeah, it's good to have. Fits them nicely. It's her size. It's good. Moving on to the next category, sleep and comfort. So a bassinet is something that we use for the first several weeks in our room. We had the Halo Swivel Bassinet, which we actually also got secondhand. And it was a fine bassinet. It did its job. Now, Sadie actually slept really well in her crib, and we ended up transitioning her kind of earlier on. So that's the one that we use. It swiveled. It also had like a vibration option, which was nice to kind of, I like to think it helped to sort of soothe her when we would put her in there when she was like really, really little. My next absolute favorite, oh my gosh, is this Swaddle sleep sack. I cannot recommend this enough. So this is also the Halo brand, and basically the way it works, you zip them into it, and then you take these Velcro outer wrappy things, and then you swaddle them into it, but it's so easy because it's just Velcro. So you just, and you nice and snug, you put them in there. When Sadie was first born, we did not know like what we were supposed to put her in for sleep. We just didn't quite realize. We had like a bunch of, you know, sleepers, but this is amazing because babies like to be tightly kind of swaddled. We transitioned her out of it when she was about 3 months old. She was getting her arms out of it anyway, and also once they start to be able to roll, you don't want to keep them in something where they are being swaddled. So now she just uses a regular sleep sack that zips up without being swaddled. And yeah, cannot recommend this enough. It's amazing. It is so much more convenient than trying to figure out all the tucks and wraps of like a blanket for swaddling. We just found that to be amazing. Next up is a baby monitor. So, there are lots of different kinds of video monitor things out there on the market, especially ones that connect to Wi-Fi and to your phone. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted a really basic like camera, monitor, connection. That's it. I didn't want anything like connected to the internet, and this one has been amazing. We use it all the time. It's by VTech, especially now that she is in her own room and she sleeps in her crib for naps and at bedtime. Just good to see what she's doing in there, if she's waking up, like if she's making noises. So next up is a white noise machine. So we do use white noise with her at naps and at bedtime, and before she was born, we didn't know if we were gonna use white noise. We're like, oh, we'll see how it goes without it. But we learned really quickly actually when she was first born that the sound, like a loud noise, like rushing water noise, would soothe her instantly. There were times where it was like 1 o'clock in the morning and she would be like, we couldn't get her to sleep, or she was crying, and we would turn on the, you know, the shower full blast, and it would just instantly calm her. So because of that, we were like convinced to use a white noise machine, and so we've used it ever since. Yes, I think we have the one, I think the brand is Skip Hop. It's like a little owl, and that's the one that we use. Soothers. Not every baby takes a soother. Some babies like reject them, or some parents maybe don't want to use them, but they definitely do help to soothe. At least some babies. Sadie took a soother pretty early on, and they've been great. These are by Bibs. Did I say that? Bibs Soothers. She has a couple of these. Next up are blankets. You definitely want to have a few blankets. We actually received most of the blankets we received were actually like hand knitted from a few family members and friends, which is so lovely, including this one. We received a ton of blankets. Definitely don't need as many blankets as we had received as gifts in that, but I would say like 3 to 4 blankets is probably good, because you use them for a lot of different things. Obviously for warmth, even for laying on the ground. We would often just like put her on the floor and let her chill. Even now we do that too. We'll just like lay her down somewhere if we're doing something in a different room. But you know, on the stroller, in the car seat, you know, blankets are very handy. Next up would be a nightlight. Also something that I recommend. I didn't so much use it, I guess, when she was in our room necessarily, like when she was sleeping in the bassinet, but now that she's in her own room, just, you know, if there's any middle of the night feeds, it's good to have a little bit of like a soft, warm glow so you can see what you're doing. And yeah, it comes in handy. I know a lot of people who will use like a red light bulb in a lamp, so that if you need to see in the middle of the night, it's not like turning on bright overhead lighting. You can just turn on a nice little glow. And lastly, in this category, although I didn't know exactly what category to put this into, because I guess it could fit in a number of categories, but that is my baby tracking app. So I use the app called Baby Tracker, and basically the purpose of it is to track things like diaper changes, their naps, feedings, things like that. So when she was first born, for the first couple of weeks, I did use it for all of those things. It really came in handy, just to get a sense of like understanding the patterns. I really only use it for a couple weeks, but now, for the last couple of months, I do actually use it every single day for tracking her naps. Not any of the other things, just tracking her naps. It really helps me to take it out of my, not have to remember like exactly when she fell asleep or how long she's been sleeping for or how long her wake windows are. It's all tracked in here so that it's just all in there. It remembers it for me, and it's for sure an essential. Next up, let's talk about clothing. This was the category when I was like pregnant, where I was always so confused about exactly what types of clothing I would have needed for a new baby. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Of course, exactly what you will need it will depend on where you live and the season you're in. Sadie was born in November, so she was a little winter baby. So we had some things that were, warmer for her. So that's just something to keep in mind. But I'll just start with, this is just a one-piece sleeper. And this is honestly, if I was to just say one thing that like a baby needs to wear, especially like a newborn, it would just be something like this. Just like an easy zip up, footed, little sleeper, onesie, one piece thing. This one's a little bit bigger because I don't actually have her newborn clothes anymore. We donated them, but this is really all that you need. Super convenient. We'll just share a couple other things that are good for like daytime use. So I have here a little bodysuit, little onesie bodysuit that's just like a little t-shirt, clips up at the bottom. I also have a couple long sleeved ones as well. Those come in handy, and usually you pair this with a pair of pants. Also good for the little babies. So yeah, that's like pretty much a basic, there you go. If I was pregnant right now, this is what I would have wanted to know, because I was always so confused about it. Pair of socks, a couple other things I'll just mention, things like hats. Again, she was born in the winter, so if we took her outside, we still do, although the weather's warming up, but put a little hat on her, that kind of thing. We also had we called it her polar bear suit, but it's basically like a baby snowsuit that we would take her we would put her in when we would go for walks in the wintertime. I will say, again, getting clothing like secondhand, like it's just a great way to go about it because babies grow out of things so quickly. She was in newborn clothes for about 4 weeks before growing out of them and moving on to like 0 to 3 months. So, you know, they grow quite rapidly. Okay, next, moving on to the play category. We have the Baby Bjorn Bouncer, and we also got that one secondhand, and it's been amazing. We used it quite a lot. We use it probably not quite as much anymore, but we did use it a lot when she was first born, and she loved the bouncing motion. It was just great for being a place to put her in. You can just set them in it. Like, it's just very, very useful. You don't want to put them in there constantly because it's not good for their gross motor development, which is why a lot of times we would just lay out a blanket and lay her on a blanket. That's something else you can do with a baby, which I didn't know when I first had Sadie, actually. I didn't know like where to put her, but you can just lay babies on blankets too. Just an FYI, if you're wondering, where do I put my baby during the day? Next up would be toys. Now, newborns, you know, they don't really need a lot of toys, but there are still a couple things that are like useful to have for them. There are things that can still be good to have. Contrast cards. Definitely a great thing to have because babies can't see very well when they're first born, so having, would you like one? Would you like it? There you go. I'm gonna eat it. Having these, they're great because they, you know, their little eyes can focus on something, the black and the white. So contrast cards are great. As the weeks go by, things like little rattles and things are also great. Lovevery is a fantastic company for toys and such that are developmentally appropriate. They are a subscription service, so they ship new play kits I think it's every 2 to 3 months or so, and all of the toys that they include for you are based on the age of your baby, so you can kind of just select how old your baby is when you're getting them. But they are great. They're Montessori inspired, they're designed by experts, so we do actually have a couple of play kits. One of them was given to us as a gift, actually, from someone that we know. And then Lovevery did send us a play kit as well, which also brings me to my next item here is our play gym, which was also sent to us from Lovevery, which we so appreciate. We use it every single day. It's definitely a staple for us. We can lay Sadie in there. There's different mobiles that you can interchange. Great for tummy time. It's also just a great kind of place to put them. It's, yeah, good. They can look up and play with things. And she's starting to sit up now, so she'll bop at the mobiles too. Okay, next up, we're moving on to the feeding category. Just a few things in this one. So I exclusively breastfeed for the most part. I have pumped like here and there, but so everything that I list out here will be based on that. The first thing that I'll share is a breastfeeding pillow, which I only honestly use for the first few weeks, I want to say. This one I got from a family member, and this is it's called My Breast Friend, I think. And really good for when you have your newborn and you can kind of wrap it. Sort of wrap it around you like this. Wrap it around you like this. You can rest the baby on it. Gives you a little bit of support with holding the baby. Gets you into a nice good position for nursing. So that's handy. There's so many out there. I've seen ones that are like these sausage-like donuts that go around that honestly look a lot more comfortable than this one. Next up is a breast pump. So, like I said, I don't pump all the time by any means, but I did get this one also from a family member who let me use it. This is Medela. It's the, what is it, Pump in Style, I think it's called. This is a very like comprehensive pump. It's got just all kinds of supplies with it, and it's a little electronic one. So if you don't always know if you're gonna like end up pumping or how much you'll end up pumping until your baby is born, so it's hard to say, but if you're going to be pumping a lot, then something like that would be really handy. You can also just use a manual pump if you don't pump very often, which I've done before. I do have a bit of a freezer stash, so yeah, having a pump can be great for that too. Oh, also something that's handy if you are going to be pumping and want to maybe build up a freezer stash would be breast milk storage bags. You can get those as well. Along with that would be a little glass bottle. I just have one small, I think it's like a 4 ounce or 5 ounce glass bottle by Philips Event. It's the name of the bottle with a little nipple. I just have one because again, she doesn't drink from a bottle too often, just if I'm going out or if me and my husband are going out or something like that. And lastly in this category, I just want to mention this is a nipple cream. When you first start breastfeeding, it can be really painful for some people. It was quite painful for me. They can get kind of like cracked and it can be pretty sore. It probably only lasted, like the worst of it for me was probably only about 10 days or so, but I used a lanolin nipple cream and it was so soothing. Okay, lastly, moving on to the travel category. I just have a few items here. So next up would be a stroller. I did so much research on strollers when I was pregnant, and then narrowed it down to the Nuna Mix stroller. So that's the one that we have. We love it. It's so smooth. You can recline the seat so that it's like a bassinet for a newborn. When you're out for a walk, they can sleep in there. You can also turn the seat around for when they're a bit older so they can sit up and look forward facing. So really handy stroller, we love it. Next up is a car seat, of course, an essential. We have the Nuna Pippa car seat and it's great, we love it. It's also compatible with the stroller, of course, so you can take it in and out of the stroller. And we also have a car seat mirror thing. I don't know the real name of this, but it's basically just a mirror that you attach to the back seat so that you can see the baby in your rear view mirror when you're driving. Couple more items. Next is a diaper bag. So a diaper bag's great for when you're out and about putting things in. Our diaper bag's a little cumbersome, I feel. I like that it has the backpack option. It can be side wearing too, but honestly just a simple like backpack diaper bag would be the best option, I would say. Lightweight, like nothing too clunky. Ours also came with a travel changing pad, which has been super useful when we need to change your diaper when we are out of the house. And lastly, let's talk carriers and things of the like. We have a couple things. So firstly, I have this Beluga baby wrap. It's like a big stretchy material that you wrap around you. It takes a little bit of getting used to. There's some, you can just YouTube like a tutorial on how to use it. What I probably would have looked into getting would be something like the Ergo Baby, or there's I think the Baby Bjorn Mini. There's like a lot of different carriers out there that I've heard really great things about. But we also have another one that she uses quite a lot more now as she's a bit bigger, called Contour's Journey. And that one is great, kind of like more, you know, buckles in, that kind of thing. It's more of like a sturdy, good for out when we go for our little walks around the neighborhood or around our trails. It's good for that. So that is it for today's video. Sadie has been so good. She's just been sitting here helping me film, playing with some toys here. Yeah, you were so good. Did we get everything on the list? I really hope I got everything on this list because it's a long list. You want to take these out? Do check out my blog post where I listed everything that I'm talking about today and a few other little bits and bobs, some other random things we have like in our nursery and that. And that is it. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you're pregnant, let me know how far along you are, or if you have a little one, let me know how old they are. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.